Welcome back to the channel. In our last episode, we got Mr. White here all squared away and ready to roll, so now we have a working air compressor. But I don't want to quite press it into service yet because there's a few other things I do want to do. So the time is now upon us to try and repair the old Harbor Freight air compressor yet again. You may be thinking to yourself, this looks like a lot of air compressors, and you are right. It appears that I'm developing a specialty, or one of many maybe. As such, there's a playlist for air compressors, which is linked right up there and down in the description, so you can go get all caught up with all the things if you want. But today's goal is going to be to address whatever's going on over here. And as you can see, I've already done a little bit of rudimentary troubleshooting. The leak on this thing was so severe that I could actually hear it from across the room. It's either, once again, this switch, or maybe this relief line that comes into the switch. So we are going to see which one it is. If it's the switch again, I'm going to be pretty disappointed because that switch is only a few months old. But this line, I've never actually replaced. So all the times in the past I've replaced this switch, which I think that's the fourth one now. I've always just reused the ferrule and crimps and everything on this nylon line. So maybe it finally just gave up and just needs trimmed back. But we will see. But the first thing to do is probably put just a little bit of air in it and see if we can take a little better look at what's going on. I'm not sure if it's gonna run much without its top cover, but we'll see. Okay, I can hear it leaking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this nylon line because I can actually move it in and out, and that's not so good. So maybe even just that fitting's loose. So just so this is a little less of a nightmare to work on, I'm just gonna take the wires back off of this guy because the wires are directly in the way of that hose we need to look at. And I have them zip tied to the pipe coming out of the compressor. So let's cut that off quick. Get this guy out of there. I'm hoping I can do this rear one without actually unscrewing this. It's with my goofy little Z driver here. Looks like I might get lucky. Yep. It's not a tool I use often, but it is nice to have it when I need it. Alrighty. I mean, that's loose on something. It's also sort of a weird size. 12 seems to sort of fit it. Okay, so this is now completely disconnected and I still hear it hissing. And if I put my finger back there, I can hear it slowing down. If you're not familiar with how any of this stuff works, this line right here goes back to this valve, and that is both a check valve and an unloader. So what happens is when this valve shuts off, it puts a little pulse of air down through this line, which opens this up briefly and unloads the pressure from the top of the compressor so it doesn't have to start up against pressure. Normally, there's no air pressure in this line, and the fact that I can still hear this guy leaking means it's leaking up through the tank, or some component of it is leaking up through the tank. And since I can put my finger here, I wonder if I can just hit that nut and tighten it up on the diaphragm. Maybe that's what's up. And it doesn't seem loose, and I don't think that's gonna help me anyway. So I think this guy's just gonna come off and get replaced again. Alrighty then, start taking things apart. If you've been here through previous episodes, you've already seen most of this. Boy. So that was on there like that. So that would make this side the leaky side. So I don't see anything like any big cracks or anything like that. I'm just going to try and back this nut off, which is easier said than done. It's also a weird size. I mean, I know full well this is all Chinese stuff, and the nut is not 13 or 14. And that doesn't want to move or rotate or come out or anything, which is strange. Makes me wonder what the point of the jam nut is. Okay, so it actually has like a flange or another nut down on the other side of it, and it just butts up against. And there you can actually I also see the little hole in it where it should relieve the cylinder head. So when it shuts off and you hear that psh, that's where that comes from. But I don't see any real easy way to get that out. I think to remove it, I actually have to disassemble this whole thing, and there's a diaphragm in here that I can promise is probably going to rip if I do that. So I don't think I could reuse it if I did that, but I think I'm going to do it just for fun at this point, because I'm already on the train of we are going to just replace this thing again. So the plan here is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to take my thumb and try and hold the nuts, because you can't get a wrench in there anyway. Funny side story, this is actually the very first thing I ever had to do to this compressor. So when I got it from Harbor Freight, these nuts and bolts were all cross-threaded from the factory. It was just quicker for me to fix it than it was to take it back. Many, many moons ago now. So I've got it just about pulled out of there. There's the rubber diaphragm. And it's already worn out. Yep, got a hole in it right there. Just garbage. So there's our leak. Diaphragm is torn right there. I think this thing is, I don't know, only maybe a few months old. That's super disappointing. And there's the mating side. I don't see anything that was like sharp or got in there or anything. So that's the problem. Another valve dead. On that one, I think I'm going to see if maybe I can get warranty, because it was so freaking new. I should be able to. But in the meantime, here's another super high quality replacement I've already purchased. And you can tell it's high quality from just looking at the box. Let's check some rudimentary things here real quick. Make sure it's the correct thread. Yep. There's a plug that I'll need to take out of the old one to put in right there. Of course, I'll need to take the box top off. I think this is, I'd have to count, but I think this is going to be the 5th one. If you count the original being broken out of the package from Harbor Freight. On the plus side, I'm not really going to worry about actually cleaning any threads, because none of this has been together long enough that they should be dirty. Just doing a little bit of visual inspection on our new guy. And you can see the threads are mangled for that port connection for the pilot line that goes on the bottom there. So that'll be cool. Alrighty, I'm just gonna dope that guy, because that is what we had on it before. And it worked out just fine. And it's easy. Alright, that's pretty good. So this fitting is junk anyway. This is the one that I've shown in, this is the Milton fitting I've shown in several videos where the piston's all corroded. So I am just gonna get rid of it. Or at least in the long run, I probably am. For right now, I will probably have to reinstall it just to act as a plug. Once again, just pipe dope the bejesus out of this. That will probably be fine. Clean up my excess mess. Good enough right now anyway. Looks like I taped the gauge previously. So I've taped them again. Oh nice, no freaking screws for the ground. So I'm gonna have to cabbage that off the other piece too. But I'm gonna wait on that, because I think it'll just be a little handy to have it out of my way while I'm dealing with the wiring. Take my screwed up air fitting and just goober it on up. I'm moderately concerned that's not tight enough. Yeah, I think that's gonna need another round put on it. I guess better to find out now than later. Kind of hate to do this on the plastic, but let's see what happens. For better or worse, it is definitely tight now. As is that guy. Grab this piece of garbage. Okay. Clean the criminal amount of pipe dope off of this thing. Alrighty. Since it was on my mind, let's have a decent look at this. Seems like it should be fine. Alright. Tighten them all up. Oh. Helps to go the right way. Alright. Didn't go crazy there. I do remember the wire nuts on the other one were junk. So let's put the new ones on before I forget again to rescue these screws and plates off of the old switch, because the new one did not include one. Honestly, I don't think any of the replacements have, which is just weird. Kind of wish I would have done this while the switch was still off. Can't believe that I just got that lucky. Just got that on without a huge headache. Okay, since the gauge won't obstruct what I'm doing, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. And what I'm going to do next is, since the other compressor has air in it, I'm going to pressurize this guy with the air from the other one before I bother with going through all the pain in the butt of hooking up the electrical, just to make sure we don't have any leaks. Alrighty, so this guy is plugged into the other compressor. This is just 2 male air fittings that I've got joined together, which allows me to do stuff like exactly what I'm about to do. Okay, so what's leaking is this piece of junk fitting, but I already knew it leaked. I'm pretty surprised I don't see any pressure on the gauge. Okay, that has 50 pounds in it. Now it should be. Just gonna plug my blowgun into this guy just to try and keep him quiet, I guess. Actually, it shouldn't really matter. So that gauge says like 47. I don't hear anything leaking, but while I work on wiring things back up, I'm just gonna leave it that way and we'll see what happens. At least it looks like I'm gonna get some decent wire nuts out of the experience, or rather cord grips. That's actually gripping the cord and threading in nicely. More or less the same on the other one. It's kind of hard to see, but there are little plates down inside of the terminals as well, just like there were on the ground tabs. We want to make sure we get our hooks behind them. And I almost certainly screwed up by not loosening these when this was not on there. Oh, it's actually not very tight. Give everything a gentle tug and none of it's going anywhere. All good news. Go ahead and install our cover because I'm pretty confident at this point. Okay. That doesn't feel right. Is it me or you? That moves plenty. No, there's basically no travel in the switch on this thing. So this guy is pretty much just doesn't move. So I'm going to see if the old one will fit it. I did find it, and you can see it's much better snap action on that. So let's try all this again. Let me guess, I'm going to have to use the, I was going to say I was going to have to use the other screw, which maybe I still will. But getting it installed all the way would probably help too. Well, at least that does what I want. Okay, let's use the other screw then. Everything's good to go. I probably screwed with that for 15 minutes by the time I got it done. We really haven't lost any air pressure. Now it's judgment day. See if it makes its own air pressure as it's supposed to. Okay, well, since the switch doesn't work, I guess we will be revisiting that before we do anything else. So I really don't want to work on it with any more pressure in it than is required. If you guys haven't caught on before, this is why I'm moving away from crap like this Harbor Freight compressor. So I'm just getting tired of dealing with it. This switch and the one before it were both ordered with the same part number, and they show up completely different. The plunger in the new lid is way longer than the plunger in the old lid. So now I just need to see why it's not moving. Oh, it's just incredibly stiff when it wants to be. Yeah, it's just super duper stiff. Okay then, let's try again. Judgment Day, the sequel. Well, that's pretty lazy. These switches are adjustable, but I would have liked to have seen that come up to about 125. That's stopped at like 110. Okay then. The good news is it's not leaking. This is definitely one of those do not try this at home moments. But this is the adjustment. All these things have them. It says plus in this direction, so I'm just going to give it like a half a turn. Plug it back in and see what it does. I may have to let some air out of it before it'll start again. Yeah. like it needs just a little bit more. Oh, just shy. Just shy. I'll be bold, not even unplug it this time. Alright, so that really was like a half. So that was too far because it kicked the tank overpressure relief on. Let's back it down. And that is basically exactly on the number, assuming this gauge is accurate, which it ought to be. It's a decent gauge. Yeah, you can see it's like 122, something like that. Just to be extra safe. There. Just backed it off like another 1/8 of a turn. Get our cover reinstalled and make sure our on-off still works. So that should be on. That's off. Plug it back in. Okay. Cool. It shut down. Right around 120. We'll call it good. I am satisfied with that. So the only thing to do now is put a zip tie back around those, just to keep the wires from going rogue. And put its Darth Vader helmet back on, the air filter, and I think we're all done. And that's what just happened. Let's take a look at the pressure gauge. This thing had a slow leak in it before, and I bet it still does now. I bet it wasn't that diaphragm, but we're looking at what, like, I don't know, 110-ish, something like that. And I lost some air just by messing around doing some other stuff. But let's check back up on that in a little while and see if it has a really bad leak or anything. So it has been about a day, and that's pretty much the amount of leakage I've come to expect out of this thing lately, so I would say everything is more or less normal. So with that, we're going to say this video has reached its conclusion. Hopefully we just need this thing to work for, I don't know, maybe another few weeks while I kind of finish dialing in our new boy, and then he can go off into the corner in retirement and maybe come out in a time of emergency, but hopefully not. Let's just hope that things go better in the future. So with all that said, that's all I've got for this one. As always, I appreciate you guys stopping in for it, and we will catch you on the next one. I'm Max, that's Saddington Bear, and we make videos like this all the time. Here are a couple links to some other videos we've made, and we really appreciate you guys stopping in.